My fiancé disappeared after a suspicious late-night call. So this all started with one of those sketchy late-night phone calls. You know, the kind you see in movies. Yeah, I thought it was just fiction too until I lived it. It was around midnight. We were curled up on our way to expensive sectional from Wayfair, binging some show on Netflix. Typical weeknight vibes. Suddenly, his phone lit up the room. Now, let me lay it out. He's got this weird thing about answering calls in front of me, says it's some privacy thing. But I mean, come on, isn't this the guy who literally shares his entire Spotify history with me? Anyway, he mumbled something like, "I'll be right back," kissed the top of my head, and slipped out the front door. I sat there with this nagging feeling in my chest as I watched the clock tick away. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. At this point, I was pacing around the living room, my mind a jumble of worst-case scenarios. The second hour hit and I finally made the call. His phone went straight to voicemail. I contacted a few friends, but nobody had any clue. Now, it's worth noting he's been distant lately. I figured it was just pre-wedding jitters, our big day's about a month away, but there were little things, you know? Like he'd leave the room for work calls and be gone for hours at a time on weekends without much of an explanation. My best friend Lindsay had been on my case about it. "Girl, I'm telling you, something's off," she'd say while we sipped overpriced lattes in our local Starbucks. By 3 a.m. I was freaking out, so I did what any self-respecting woman on the verge of losing her sanity would do. I checked his email. I know, but desperation calls for desperate measures. What I found made my heart drop. An email confirmation for a hotel booking downtown. The timestamp? 12:10 a.m. I jumped in my car, barely remembering to throw on a hoodie, and drove like a madwoman through the empty streets. The hotel was one of those sleek, modern places, floor-to-ceiling windows, a lobby that smells like citrus and success. I stormed up to the desk, heart pounding louder than a bass drum. The receptionist, bless her heart, looked about as thrilled as a DMV worker on a Monday. When I asked for his room number, she asked if I was on the reservation. Of course, I wasn't. But listen, desperation gives you this weird kind of courage. So with the best poker face I could muster, I said, "Look, I'm his fiancé, and there's been an emergency." She hesitated, but then nodded, slipping me the room number. My palms were sweaty as I marched down the hallway, each step echoing my heartbeat. I knocked, and when the door creaked open, my world imploded. There he was, standing in the doorway, totally caught off guard, and behind him, a woman in pajamas that definitely weren't mine. I wanted to scream, cry, maybe throw a punch, but all I managed was a whispered, "Why?" He tried to stammer out some excuse, something about needing space and being overwhelmed, but it all just faded into white noise. Needless to say, I walked away from him, that hotel, and the future I thought we were planning together. It's been a couple of weeks since that night. I'm still processing everything, still feeling the sting of betrayal. Lindsay's been my rock. She showed up at my place the next day, armed with ice cream and a list of empowering breakup anthems. And that's where I'm at now, teetering between hurt and healing, trying to figure out what to do with these non-refundable wedding deposits. But hey, at least I dodged a bullet before walking down the aisle. Any advice on how to move forward from here would be seriously appreciated.